So if because I came in late because I was uploading these files. The revised green cover sheet for motion and the revised SS-XCOM manumission for the U.S. court example. And I understand you're concerned about filing this case. If you read the documentation, the way we're filing it as a miscellaneous, we're filing it in the Article 3 court. So that should get through your concern about dealing with the court system. Does that?
Hey, Tom, this is Drew. I'm still trying to get in through the front door without a graven image or an executor name, considering I'm the grantor living beneficiary. So that's the current blockade.
Well, you have to do the manumission to have clean hands.
Well, that's the other thing is I've also sent in the manumission, actually a proclamation, emancipation to Congress and representatives in my area, and still nothing has come about from that. As
You're
far
not
as I'm
presenting.
concerned, well, as long as I sent it to them, I fear that, ball's in their court now. They can't say I never,
You're sending it to a congressman? You're sending this to a congressman?
Well, that was the idea at the time,
Well, then it sounds like you're not up to date with the current documents, stuff that we've done in the past few weeks.
Yeah, that's the wrong branch of government there.
Yeah.
Okay, Patrick, I'm on the line. Okay. The one thing that nobody has talked about out here in this whole damn deal is that basically the constitutions are nothing but banking charters.
Right.
Okay? They are strictly a banking charter. Everything out here is done by banking. I've told you all along that Bible is nothing but banking instruments, banking laws, inequity. That's what the Bible really is all about. It's a banking book. Okay? The Constitution of the United States of America is the national banking charter for the country and for distribution of the funds to the states, depending upon their appropriation of people within their state. That's why the Constitution was written up, and basically why the Congress was assigned so many people per the population of the state. That was to be a we the people bank, not we the government controlling and putting the people into servitude bank. The Justice Department is basically the first trustee in this bank. They are the just exchangement trustee. The Secretary of State is not a trustee for this bank. They're just a public relations office. Okay? They really have no standing in the operation of the banking system of this country. They're just a public, like I said, a public relation for the president of the bank, and the president of the bank is just a damn nitwit. He's just an interface, sort of like a monarchy out there that basically just sits on a throne and doesn't know what the shit they're doing. And you can tell that from the people that we've had in that damn office. Now, the judicial department is basically the first trustee. We have to take it like in a brokerage house, and that's all that a courthouse is a brokerage house. It's a national banking brokerage house or a state bank brokerage house. The state constitution is a state banking charter. The second trustee is basically the Treasury out here. They're the ones that are holding the assets. Just like in a commodity broker, you go first to the broker, then he sends it down to the cashier, who basically writes out the check. And then the third and final trustee is the post office that makes the delivery to your private post office box with your zip code. But you have to, and that's the third trustee, the distribution trustee. You have to get the U.S. attorney out of being a foreign trustee for the foreign United States bankrupt trust. Just like at the state, you have to get that prosecuting attorney, county attorney, or state attorney who's ever trying to prosecute you. You have to get him on your side of the aisle, and you have to be coming in the de jure bank of the state, not this de facto debtor bank. He has to be on your side of the aisle. Then he is vacated being the trustee for the other side, and now there is no trustee on the other side. The judge has to come in and basically be a constitutional judge in the process. And in most cases, there is going to be no female that qualifies for that constitutional judgeship. They can only operate in the de facto court system, the fraudulent, the Jezebel banking system. But that's all that this is. It's just a banking system that we're operating in. You have to understand that, and you basically are a customer of either the de jure bank or under this fraudulent bankrupt bank and trust. You renounce being a grantor to that foreign bank and also a beneficiary to it. Then they have to terminate your executor, your ex-con account in that fraudulent bank. But you put the U.S. attorney or the state attorney on your side of the aisle because basically the de jure state treasury, bank, has a claim against that fraudulent bankrupt bank also. That's why we're putting the U.S. attorney on our side of the aisle as a plaintiff to represent the United States of America Constitutional Trust, Bank and Trust. They can't represent both sides of the aisle in this process. So they have to vacate the one and go over and now operate on the de jure side. It's a done deal. If they don't comply, we have inspector generals that we will call upon and basically come down upon that U.S. attorney if he does not get over on the right side and do his job for the Constitution. The same way up the line. That's why you have a Treasury Inspector General. That's why you have a Justice Department Inspector General. That's why you have a Post Office Inspector General. And that's also why you have the FBI, the Federal Banking Inspectors. It's all about banking. But they've hidden the titles away from everybody, and then they've got everybody going in the wrong damn direction, thinking, oh, this is probate, this is this, this is that. We need to have this apostille. We need to go to the Secretary of State and basically get this all done all over again. That certificate of live birth was sent in. It gave us a de jure birth certificate, American banknote. But we had to get a bank routing number to be able to utilize that in the process, and that's the 98 series number. Then we had to set up our private individual bank, our individual banker working for our private bank out here, and then have a means to process the distribution to the assets over to us by using our zip code, 9-digit bank, postal bank distribution routing number, and then get a Postmaster distribution account, whether it's in the form of a debit card or whatever. That's what needs to be done. That's what you people need to understand. You have a mortgage. You go into court. They see the prosecutor is sitting there, the county attorney or whoever. They are on the wrong side of the fence. They are basically representing the bank, which is a beneficial owner for the fraudulent trust that was created by that mortgage. You have to get them over onto being a representative for the state, okay, for like Iowa State Constitutional Bank and Trust, because the Constitutional State Bank and Trust also has a claim against any profits that that bank that's holding the mortgage beneficial ownership owes to the state too. They owe funds to us. They've been using our letters of credit. They owe payment to us. They owe payment to the state. But you have to get the state prosecutor onto the right side of the aisle. And you have to get onto that side too by doing a revoking of the beneficial, being the grantor and being the beneficiary to this foreign grantor trust. All of these, the Jezebel banking system, you have to come out of her and get over to the American Constitutional National Bank system, or the Constitutional State Bank system, bank and trust. That's what it's all about. With these documents that I have, you should be able to see that.
Yes.
Where did I put the U.S. Attorney? I put him over on my side of the aisle in the plaintiff side.
Yep.
He can't represent the de facto side any longer. the judge is not going to be able to be a fiduciary for the beneficial owners of those trusts, the fraudulent beneficial owners. There again, if they try and do that, basically we can go into the court inspector generals and have them punished, have their bonds taken away, removed from office. But you have to know what you're doing in the process. And then when you understand this, you should understand how to stay out of the damn Jezebel banking system and not get into trouble anymore. You don't need these public banks. We've got the post office banking system in this country. Okay, it's open for questions now. Ask them or forever hold your peace, because this may be the last time I talk to you guys.
You just
Mine got delivered today to the U.S. Attorney at 12:28 and to the court at 12:51. Okay, someone is going to try and talk. Go ahead.
Now that someone had an open mic there, some kind. I'll see if they want to talk.
Yeah, Tom, this is Guillermo out in California.
Okay.
I just had an interesting question here, or probably trivial, but the U.S. Attorney here in the Central District where I live is a woman. I mean, would that really make a difference?
Well, it shouldn't, but basically she may have to recluse herself and turn it over to one of her understudies.
Okay, yeah, okay. I went down their leadership page, and I guess she does overlook some other male type, attorneys in that office. So yeah, I'll keep a look up. I'll look that up.
Well, you don't have to look it up. You send it into the U.S. Attorney's office there at that federal district.
Okay.
They have to know what's going on when they're put onto the de jure side.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I got it.
Yeah. No, I don't think it has anything in the laws about who the U.S. Attorney is. We know that the judges are supposed to be male in all cases when they're dealing with the national bank. And see, we've got all these representatives. If you're going to think you're going to the representative, you're going to the representative that is representing this foreign trust, the bankrupt United States or United States Bankrupt Trust, or the state of, like Iowa, Bankrupt Trust.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
who they're representing right now. They're not representing the de jure bank. They vacated that office.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. I'll mute out now.
Okay.
Pat?
Yeah.
The package that you send into the court then basically is your constitutional basis document, the green cover sheet, and the case itself, followed by the green blank, and there was an attachment that goes. But when you
plus
send the
copy of my baptismal certificate, plus a copy of the Expatriation Act. I didn't list that one, but I stuck it in there. Plus a copy of the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment. And I think there was one other document there that I had too. It's all listed on the court package.
The UCC form, the U one.
No, I didn't put in the. I dropped that one off. The UCC 108 and 5108 and 5109.
Okay. And when we send the copy to the U.S. attorney, he gets the insurrection letter in addition to the package?
He gets the whole package. Okay, the violations of office information document was the other one that I sent him with that.
Oh, okay, violations, good.
Yeah, it's all right in that court filing that I have. And basically, this goes right along with the Tale of Two Cities that you were supposed to read in grade school or junior high or whenever. This is the Tale of Two Trusts. The de jure trust and the fraudulent trust, the Jezebel trust.
Okay. Yeah, you'd
Two
have
different banking systems in the country.
All right. You had this complete list before, but then I thought the last iteration you would cut it down. But it's reasonable that it should be all these documents to teach them what's going on.
The only document that I sent in was that foreign SS con trust, Mortimain ex-con person, Social Security document. I dropped off the driver's license and all the others. They will come and pick those up. I put the statement in there that they had to come and pick those up when demanded by the court or the U.S. Marshals. All the other items will be ready for them to pick up.
Okay. And the court
they've got to come and see us to get us out of the system. Okay?
Right. Does the court get the insurrection letter too, or just the U.S. attorney? Does the court get the insurrection letter also, or just the U.S. attorney?
Just the U.S. attorney gets that. See, it's addressed to him. Okay, come on.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yes, and what you gave us, what you told us right here at the beginning, it really explains the best insurrection letter. I get that.
Well, it's right in the very first part of the court case, too. The first paragraph talks about the de jure. The only thing I could have expounded upon more was the American National Bank, as that is what the constitutional trust is all about. It's an American National Bank.
A bank charter, right. Okay, thank you. So I got a grip on to complete the package.
See, the Articles of Confederation, they tried their first attempt using the Articles of Confederation to set up a national banking charter. It didn't work because they had to have all the states agree to do something. And they couldn't get all the states to agree. One state could hold out, and basically then they didn't fund the Continental Army because one state held out. That's why they had to go to the Constitution and rewrite it to where it was 2/3 majority.
Okay.
And give several powers as the bank, president of the bank, could make several determinations. And also that basically the trustees had additional powers in the process too, because they didn't have it all set up with the three trustees the way it should have been. And that's why Benjamin Franklin, Thomas Jefferson, and the boys kept going over to England to find out how the banking charters were set up. And you'll find a lot of this right in the first volume of the Statutes at Large, if you know what you're looking for. This was never supposed to be a debtor's country. The treasury belongs to the people. You got in debt. You were supposed to, basically the courts were supposed to take care of it. But if the courts didn't process it, then you turn to the next trustee up the ladder, which was the Secretary of the State or the Secretary of the Treasury. Like I said, the Secretary of State is just nothing but a damn administrative interfacing person out there for public relations.
Did you say Secretary of the State or Secretary of the Treasury? I didn't hear that.
The Secretary of the Treasury is the second trustee.
Right. If the
The Secretary of State is nothing but a kiss-ass international information person, setting up basically the household effects of basically like the kingship, okay, monarchy. Basically the butler that sets up everything for the household for the party that they're going to have that night. That's all what the damn Secretary of State is. They're not worth shit. We could live without them. We don't need them. They're only for kissing ass with some other dignitary from some other country.
Right, and providing arms to our enemies.
Well, basically, whatever, okay? Yeah, in the Jezebel banking system, they're able to do a hell of a lot more. That's why Hillary Clinton wanted in there, because basically in the Jezebel banking system, they were sort of calling a bunch of shots when they shouldn't have been doing anything. Except party planners. And see, the constitutional bank does not have the authority to go out and basically spend the people's money. At will, the way they're doing in the Jezebel banking system. Any other questions?
That's it.
Speak up.
Yeah, I'm behind, so please excuse me. And I'm late getting on the call as well. It was my daughter's birthday today. She having a birthday party right now. I'm hiding from them. I know you just posted some new documents today, but I don't know which documents I'm supposed to use per se, other than the two you just posted to utilize your process. So can you please tell me, and without getting upset with me, man, please.
The bank filing one, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, that's the $46 U.S. bankrupt trust court filing, okay?
Yes.
And then you need to have a green cover sheet for that motion, for that court motion. It's going to be, you have to have a $46 money order. You put with that. Then I put a white, based upon the Constitution document in there, cover sheet addressing this to the clerk of the court, that I didn't sign that document. It's just an information cover sheet that basically they have to file this filing. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. Okay?
Okay.
And then you have your SS ex-con manumission to the U.S. court example that you need to fill out. You need to sign, date, and you're coming in both as the beneficiary, like in my case, Patrick Devine, and then basically as the inheritor and owner, vessel owner, Patrick, semicolon, of the family Devine. Okay? And then a copy of your baptismal certificate document that I had posted up there, template. And then also a copy of the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment document, and then a violations of office information document. And I also put a copy of the expatriation 14th Amendment into those packages too.
Right.
And then I also had a insurrection letter going to the U.S. Attorney's Office when I send the package over to him. So you need to make up 3 packages, 2 packages with a green cover sheet and a blank green sheet at the end, putting that into a package. You make up 2 packages there. You send those into the court. The court case number, you don't know. And it's going to end up being a sealed court case because the court don't want this out to the general public. So it's going to end up being a sealed court case. And then you send a complete package over to the U.S. Attorney, also signed, sealed, and dated. You send them out by certified mail. Then if they don't comply within a couple days, basically then you start hitting up the Inspector Generals. The Justice Department Inspector General claiming fraud, just like what we did with the Social Security Inspector General. They're operating under identity theft and also under banking fraud. And because it's banking fraud, you can bring in the federal banking investigators known as the FBI. But there's an Inspector General in the Justice Department, in the Treasury Department, and in the Post Office Department. And all 3 of them basically deal with identity theft and fraud, national banking fraud.
Is there any truth to using a private carrier in order for you to be acknowledged in a private capacity?
Using a what?
A private carrier like FedEx or...
No, you don't need to do that, okay? Certified mail is good enough. You have a tracking. All you need to know is when it was delivered. And you can get the delivery time and date online.
Thank you, Patrick.
And see, basically, if they don't comply, basically, they're going to be operating in mail fraud of not complying with the delivery of that instrument within 3 days. We have them now that we understand that this is nothing but a bank that we're dealing with. We're dealing with the national bank or the state chartered bank, not these foreign fraudulent bank and trust, bankruptcy, or bankrupt bank and trust. And we get basically the trustees on the right side of the fence. they now have to come in and support the constitutions and not the fraudulent foreign bankers. Anybody have a problem with that? It's that simple. Even in your child support cases, anything, you get that public defender over on your side of the aisle under the national or state banking system. The state bank or the national bank also has a claim against that Jezebel banking system. And unless you bring them over with you, basically, they're going to stay over on the other side trying to make a profit and get extra pay in their back pocket from the fraudulent bankers, a kickback. That's why Corey's court case, why the female prosecutor asked the judge whether she was still going to get her payment. Well, hell no, she's not going to get her payment. She's already been paid for that office position by the de jure bank. She's not going to be entitled to the kickback. She has to vacate that position once she gets thrown on the other side of the aisle. She now has to start operating that position in the de jure. She's already been paid. She just won't have some extra money for her vacation next year. She'll have to start drinking coffee instead of $600 bottle of wine. Anybody have any problems, any questions, comments, rebuttals?
Hey, Patrick, you call it an ex-con just because it's like instead of the executor, it's an ex-con for doing rebellion and insurrection against the real.
It's an
organic.
executor, so I took the first two letters of executor.
Right.
And basically he is a constructed person, okay,
right.
by the foreign bank or foreign banking trust. They constructed him.
Right.
They didn't create him, they constructed him.
Right.
And basically we are the creators. And only the creators can be the destroyers. We're going to destroy these trusts. Our trust.
Right.
Because they're just a house of cards, and we can basically pull the keystone out of the house of cards, and the house of cards come falling down.
Mm-hmm. Right, I understand. Yeah, that's a good reminder. Yeah, you did say that it was all constructed. It's all constructive fraud.
Yeah.
It's constructive trust. It's all constructive.
And see, that's what the Constitution. It was a construction by the people. We the people. The creators. We the people. We constructed a national banking charter out here, known as the Constitution of the United States of America. It's just a national banking charter. But we allowed these other guys to come in and basically get us into a fraudulent assignment scenario and fraudulent contracts under concealment, and then they constructed these other players in the process and constructed themselves as being the beneficial owner when we were supposed to be the beneficiary of those trusts all along.
Mm-hmm.
But they deprived us of our beneficiaryship and took all the benefits for themselves. This system goes all the way back to the Assyrians, back in Abraham's time, back to Moses and the Egyptian time, back to Daniel in the Babylonian time, the Greeks, the Romans, the whole system. When the religious side, the false temple priests, come in and set up their false banking system.
Yeah, and that's going to be why all the judges are going to be, all the churches are going to be judged first, what they say in Revelation.
Well, and all the judges and everything else, okay, and prosecuting attorneys, all these bar attorneys and everything else that are operating for the Jezebel banking system. Okay, when the house of cards comes falling down, they're going to be the first ones to basically suffer the consequences, along with the people that are still in there, because the people are basically under the false pretense that they're the executor and that they are basically the surety for all these items. And they're not. You have a dead Mortemain account, and these vampires have been sucking the life out of it. But they've been hoarding all the assets in our dead Mortemain accounts held down in Puerto Rico. We've got to bring those assets back to America.
Yeah, in the Merchant of Venice, that beginning of the movie, the princess was showing all of her suitors the caskets of loot, of money. Remember, they were in caskets?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, good, right. So it always has been going on, yeah.
I have a question.
Ask it. Speak up.
What would you put for someone who went through the naturalization process?
Well, you would use your naturalization paper.
Right, but what should I put there? Like, American born? I'm not. So
you are an American national, and basically read what it says about in the Expatriation Act out there, that document. You have the same standing after you get naturalized as an American citizen.
Okay. Now, when the visit will occur, would you ask them for a receipt? So basically, you will give them all the items, and in return, you should get a receipt that, yeah, you give them. So you have to ask
you
for a
will be
receipt.
brought out of the system and basically put into a witness protection program. You are witnessing against this foreign banking system.
Okay.
That's why I told you, watch some of those movies like Eraser and basically Fire by Fire, okay? Talking about going into the witness protection programs. Who basically puts them in? The U.S. Attorney and the U.S. Marshals.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? When you're operating in the de jure bank, basically you can be placed into this witness protection program, protecting yourself from the fraudulent bankers. You can change your last name. You're not dead. In Fire with Fire, Jeremy kept his first name. They gave him a new last name. So he was hidden in plain sight, but he was like a ghost because he was not seen in the public banking system any longer. You will get a Postmaster debit card. You can go into any post office and get money orders. You can go to ATM machines with that card and draw cash out. They don't need to have your name. And basically, when you have your Postmaster identification card and your Postmaster debit card, you now have proper identification to cash any postal money order. Now you're in the de jure banking system of the United States of America using the American National Bank, Constitutional National Bank.
Okay, thank you.
Supposedly they're getting ready to start setting the post offices back up as the banks that they should have been. But how long that takes, I don't know. Yeah, when you get your individual banker's EIN, you have to declare who that individual banker is working for. That is when you basically declare your private bank estate and trust. The state and the nation cannot attack a private bank. They have no claim over it. So basically, when you go out and buy a car, you buy it through your private bank, like what I did. My private bank owns my car. Then the state has no jurisdiction over that car. They take that and basically now it's going to be grand theft on their behalf. They have no lawful claim against that car.
That's who the CFO is working for.
What?
That's who the CFO is working for. That's the identifier number for the individual banker.
That is our fictional person that we constructed in our bank.
Yeah, we constructed.
Okay, in the private. Right. He's a private employee in our private bank. But he has a bank routing number so that basically he can process the funds from the Treasury up to the post office. Our estate account EIN number basically is what goes from the Justice Department to the Treasury.
Verdale.
Like what I have in that court case. I tried to identify the proper people there. And then basically on the two documents I have, the national, or the American Banknote instrument 101 that I have there, I show the 3 EINs that are needed.
Mm-hmm.
First, the foreign grantor trust EIN, then the individual banker EIN, and then your zip code post office EIN. Each one of them has one dash in them. They're a one-way processing. They're a drawing bank routing number. You can only draw out. You don't deposit in. Then you start putting your inheritance and your assets into the private. Then these public banking officials can't touch that. As long as you stay away from them. You don't operate in commercial commerce whatsoever. You can operate in just commerce.
What do you mean by just commerce?
The constitutional commerce out here of just exchangement. You don't get into the commercial banking system.
Oh, okay. So
of usury. You don't use interest.
Okay. So we don't go out and try to get a credit card once this is all over and done with.
Right.
Hell no. Why would you need a credit card if you're going to get a big credit card from the post office?
Oh, I know.
It's not a credit card. It's a debit card debiting your credits that are on account.
But if we were to go and register our car or our boat or even record a deed to real estate, we could find ourselves in trouble.
Yes. And basically you'd be classified as a complete idiot, a lunatic, an insane person. Why would you want to give something up to somebody else? Because that's what you're doing when you register those with the state. You are giving ownership over to somebody else now. And then basically they're saying they're leasing it back to you. And then they control and tell you, you've got to have a seatbelt, you've got to have extra insurance, you got to have this, you got to have that. Because you gave them beneficial ownership. And only a lunatic would do that. An insane person.
Oh, Patrick, another question. Since I'll be doing this filing jointly with my wife, should we add a marriage certificate in there?
You will basically have that turned over in the end when they come and see you.
Okay. Because she has no identifying number. She doesn't have any EINs.
She has an identifying number if she has a Social Security number.
Okay.
That's what she needs to. In the court case, you have to turn in 2 SS Mortimain accounts, hers and yours.
Okay. And that's being done on the separate filing.
That is being done on this bank filing or this court filing of insurrection that you put into under this $46 court filing. You just add another line there for her Social Security Mortimain account.
Okay. But you didn't, in this, I'm looking at the old example of, I think, Rev 1. You don't actually have the Social Security number anywhere in here.
You don't put the Social Security number in the court document. You attach it as a Mortimain attachment. Like what I say in the document. The Mortimain, this document is attached.
You want this piece, Carter?
And this court case is going to be a sealed court case, so basically it won't make any difference whether the Social Security number is there or not, because nobody in the public is going to see this. The court will not let this document out because they don't want everybody out there to know how to get out of a system.
Patrick?
Yes.
Okay, I agree with...
Speak up a little. Speak up a little if you would, please.
Okay, hold on. Hold on one second. Okay, I got it off speaker. I agree with you about them not wanting anyone to see it, but just by the way, when in the past with the court case that I had things sealed in there, when I went back to look at it a couple of years later, those particular files were in envelopes that had been opened. they had been opened and tried and just slightly taped back, not even properly sealed back.
You're reverbing quite a bit. I can't quite understand what you're saying here.
You have speakers on. And
I turned the speaker off. I don't know why it's doing that. I can hear it. That's all right. Never mind.
She's saying that she had found her when even though she were told the court documents were sealed, when she went back, she found they had been opened and the envelopes were available to people. Is that right?
This court case will not be that way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. I agree.
Okay.
Probably not.
Yes. This is a completely different court case filing. Okay. This one would be completely sealed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They don't seal everything in the public system, but this is strictly in the private. This is in the de jure banking process of the country. This is a private banking filing in reality. And see, I've talked to agents for all three of the trustees in the past. I just didn't know that all I had to do when they came and saw me was turn over the documents to them, and basically I would have been out of the system a long time ago. We've been sitting right there in a lot of misunderstanding, but really to understand that these constitutions, these charters, are nothing but banking charters. The de jure banking charter and the Jezebel banking charter. Which bank do you want to operate with? That's the only question you really have. The just banking system or the fraudulent penal colony indentured surety slave banking system. Which is an insurrection violation of the 14th Amendment.
Why then does it exist still?
What's that?
Why then does the Jezebel banking system still exist?
Because the people are too damn dumb. How many times did the Hebrews get into the Jezebel banking system?
Where's the military on this matter?
The military don't have to be in there. The military is only supposed to protect the country from foreign invasion. We're not supposed to be out there fighting wars over in Afghanistan or any place else. If you read the de jure constitution of this country, we are not to have the military go outside of the borders of America. The Coast Guard was supposed to be the protectionary along with the U.S. Navy to protect the shores of America. They weren't supposed to be all the way across the world. They were supposed to be protecting our commerce out here, the mail routes. The U.S. cavalry didn't go after the Indians until basically the Indians attacked and disrupted the Wells Fargo mail system. When the mail got disrupted, commerce got disrupted, then the military could be sent out. But just because some settlers got killed by the Indians, the cavalry didn't come to their aid. Okay? The local sheriff, basically, a posse had to go out. that the military was barred from going after the Indians until basically the Indians disrupted commerce. Then the Postmaster General could issue the order to send the cavalry out and declare war. War is declared in the de jure by the Postmaster General, not the President. Even Roosevelt knew that one. You had to learn from history to understand what has all taken place here. But you had to look at it with an open mind in the process. You were supposed to be a prince of America. That's why the original 13th Amendment had to be removed from the books. The bankers tried to initiate that original 13th Amendment, barring our titles of nobility. I've said this before, and it is a proven fact that they had to remove it, and the Supreme Court was the one who removed it. Because it infringed upon our rights and powers as we the people, owners of America. The 13th and 14th and 15th Amendment were put into place to protect us. All the other statutes out there, 16th through the 27th, are all fraudulent foreign banking statutes or amendments, because they've infringed upon our rights and powers that were given and supposed to be protected by the Bill of Rights.
Which comes from Rome, correct?
What?
Which came from Rome, the authorization or the Bill of Rights?
No, it came from England, from the temple bankers. The Jezebel, the whore of Babylon, is England. It's not Rome.
No,
you have a world trust, basically, that is held by the Church of Rome, because basically all churches lead back to Rome, and you have a claim against the national or against the World Bank that is controlled by Rome, the Church of Rome, by your baptismal certificate out there, because you are a baptized Roman citizen, world citizen, by that baptismal certificate also. So you have two de jure trust that you can claim, two banking trusts that you can claim from. You have to have another banker's routing number to access that Church of Rome World Trust, and that is a Postmaster routing number with the St. Patrick's Trust Building in New York City. St. Patrick is the patriarch out of Rome for the Americas, for Ireland and Scotland, against the English bankers.
So what do you call that? St. Patrick's in New York? What is it called?
You forget about it for right now, okay?
Yeah, I just want to write and make.
You need to get this other shit understood.
Right. I'll listen to the recording.
I talked about that in the past, and basically we went over that years ago, and only two of us ended up getting that Postmaster, Church of Rome, EIN with the St. Patrick's Trust building. But you get your American National Bank account and everything and start accessing that and close down all the other assets. And then you have your estate EIN, and you can take all your receipts and turn those into the Justice Department, U.S. Attorney, and draw out of the Federal Reserve Bank the tariff taxes that basically is owed to us, and also the debt. You're decreasing the national debt, and so much also will go over to the de jure Treasury in the process.
Hey, Patrick.
Yeah.
This is Corey. I love you, man. Listen. All right. I want to add something to that, right? And I understand what you're saying exactly, right? And I want to read something. And this is why. See, everybody else took the oath to support the bankers. The postmasters are the only ones that took the oath to support the Constitution, right?
Okay.
Because it said in 1860, right? The postmaster oath says, "I do swear and affirm that I will faithfully perform all duties required of me, abstain from everything forbidden by law in relation to the establishment of the post office and post roads within the United States. I do solemnly swear and affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States." That is their de jure oath. And that's why he's telling you guys to go to the postmaster, because they're the only one that support the Constitution.
Also, the inspector generals will do that too. They're generals. That's the army that we need to go to. Okay? You want an army? You've got them. The generals, the inspector generals.
And
the internal military of the country.
The FBI been implanting. Have you guys heard of Pandora's box? Right? They've been implanting people in these situations. If we make enough reports, they've been implanting them in the prisons. They've been implanting them in the court systems to see if they're going to violate what we're trying to do. So we got to make the report. I made it a couple FBI reports.
Yeah.
Right? And so they just, in California, they just busted that sheriff. He tried to retire. He retired first. They just busted him. They implanted some people in the prison that were FBI agents to see if he was going to do the wrong. And he did that. He changed the name in the system of the people that they were looking for, and they sent agents to look for the people, and they were like, "Oh, that person's not here," but they already knew they were there.
Yeah,
so we got to
bring fraudulent claims in, and see that's what the FBI is. They're federal banking inspectors. They're investigating the banking system, the fraud that is being perpetrated in the banking system. Everything out here, all these bonds and everything, all these courts, Jezebel courts that are out here, they're foreign courts, and basically all of them are committing banking fraud. You've got to know that. Then you can put your lawful claim in and bring in the banking inspector generals and also the FBI into the process. And see, the U.S. Marshals work for the Justice Department and the Justice Inspector General. The Secret Service works for the Treasury trustee in the banking process, in the de jure banking process. See, when you understand the banking, now you understand who can protect us. But you have to get on the right side of the fence and bring those guys over with you. You leave them on the other side of the fence and you're going to lose. Because when you bring them over to our side of the fence, they have to vacate the position they're holding on the other side of the fence. Now they have no trustee on the other side of the fence, and those trusts all have to be collapsed. Just because you disavowed being the beneficial owner and being the beneficiary of those trusts, you have to also destroy the trustee for those trusts. Then the de jure trustees can come in and prosecute and liquidate those trusts at will, because they are basically void trust. And the beneficial owners have already been paid in the process. So basically anything that they're trying to charge you is a double dipping, which is in violation. It's double jeopardy, which is in violation of the Constitution of this country. I could go on and on about this shit now, because I understand it. That's what you people need to get ingrained into your mind, so you can rattle this shit off.
Well, you're helping us.
Hey, this is Steve. I got a new word for everybody that I don't know if you guys heard of it or not, but it's called amotion. It's spelled A-M-O-T-I-O-N. It means putting out, removal, taking away, disposition of lands. Emotion essentially means the deprivation of possession. The term has been used to describe a wrongful seizure of personal chattels. The most common legal use of the word is in corporation law. In that context, emotion is the ousting of an officer from his or her post of the corporation prior to the end of the term for which the officer was appointed or elected, without taking away the person's right to be a member of the corporation. It could be distinguished from disenfranchisement, which is the total expulsion of the corporation's officer or official representative. Anyhow, I'm getting this from the Free Dictionary.
Well, basically, that's what we're putting in. We're putting in a motion into this court.
Yeah.
And we're removing the U.S. attorney out of being the trustee for the de facto banking system.
Yeah,
and we're bringing him over onto our side of the fence as basically the trustee for the United States of America National Bank and Trust. He has to represent the de jure side first. Therefore, he has to remove his bar card, just like the judge has to remove his bar card, like that judge out in Idaho, when he got put into that position, he had to go back and take off his black robe, his robe of death, and put on a white robe with a purple sash and come back in as a constitutional judge. And then, based upon the 14th Amendment, the charges were dismissed because they were basically coming in under the fraudulent trust.
Yeah, for deprivation of possession, and rebelling and
basically
insurrection.
Insurrection.
Right.
Just what the 14th Amendment says.
Yeah.
Right.
Banking insurrection.
Right.
Monetary insurrection. By this foreign Jezebel banking system of usury, taking away our interests from us. Putting us under slave labor wages. Like I said, back in '69, I was making $2.25 in silver. to get that same $2.25 in silver today, you would have to be making roughly about 40 Federal Reserve dollars.
Right.
Therefore, most people out here that are making $10 to $15 an hour are making less than one silver dollar. They're making less than I started out working for the phone company. As a grunt lineman. I've tried to use that example. People just can't see that basically how and why are we getting screwed the way we are? Because we're allowing them to screw us. We want to go down there. We want to go to the bank. When we had a national bank that we could have gone to and basically got the house payment and bought the house. We did it by letters of credit. All we had to do was release the credits that we already borrowed from the national bank. But they put them into a mortgage account and then wrote bonds and liens against those credits out there and then got us to turn around and buy the bonds back with your damn retirement programs that you thought you had to have. Why, if you got a national bank account that you can draw against at any time, day or night, would you want to go and sign up with this fraudulent banking system? Because we've been lied to. Well, that's the only banking system you've got. That's bullshit. Just because we weren't taught the other one doesn't mean we can't go out and find out that there was another banking system that we could have been using. And all these patriots out here have been barking up the wrong damn tree because they did not understand the banking system in this country. Just like all the Hebrews down through the ages. Moses tried to teach them, but basically the idiots still kept getting themselves into trouble. Daniel tried to teach them. Jesus tried to teach them. All the prophets tried to teach them. But basically they may stay out for maybe 30, 40, 50 years, and then they're right back into the same fraudulent banking system. Because somebody offered him a free frying pan.
I'm not sure that's bad.
Okay, anybody else have any questions, comments?
Well, happy
Can you
birthday.
hear me?
Happy birthday, Patrick.
Right. Happy birthday, Patrick.
Happy birthday to you.
This is St. Patrick's Day, too.
Yep.
No? Okay.
You don't have to wait until the 17th.
We got to St. Patrick's Day. Okay. Good.
Okay.
It's sinking in, man. I'm really glad you're showing us the path.
Yeah, I'm trying to drive the snakes out of this country too. Okay?
Yeah.
Right.
You are doing it.
And that's what St. Patrick did. He drove the damn commercial bankers out of Ireland.
Huh.
Yep.
That's the snakes in the grass.
Okay.
And see, that's what Eve, basically, when she ate off the tree of knowledge, she just went for the fruit, the frying pan. She didn't want to understand the tree of knowledge, the de jure bank that they had.
Yeah,
see, this system is older than dirt.
Yeah.
But yet the religious leaders and everything else have you so damn dumbed down, along with the public education, bankers' public education system in this country, that basically people just want to believe anything and believe in a hocus-pocus guy out there in Never Never Land. Going to come and rescue them, save their ass. I don't know any religious leader that has ever saved anybody's ass.
You know, you're right. We are the gods. We just have to know it and believe it and act like it.
Our spirit that is in the driver's seat of our vessel is our God of knowledge and understanding. And then that is our belief. We each individually have our own set of beliefs and understandings. You just got to make sure you're on the right track. And most people have been operating on the wrong track for a long time.
So, Patrick, sorry.
Go ahead.
Do you see any challenges with the manumission of an artifice? In other words, something that's not really living? Do you follow what I'm saying?
No.
Do you see? Okay.
They have to terminate that account. Okay, even like at your local bank. That is a dead man's account. They've taken your assets that you deposited and put them into a dead man account off budget, and then basically turn around and write a lien against that account and borrow the money with a banker's acceptance from the Federal Reserve Bank. And then turn around and give the money back out to you to spend out there thinking you're operating with the money you just deposited. No. The money you deposited is sitting over here in another account. See, it's all a shell game. Hide the P from the idiot that's standing out front thinking that basically they're treating you justly. They're not. It's a con game. A shell game. It's a gambling game. And they're gambling on you not understanding the process.
That I can see.
Yeah. See how simple it is when you understand what's really going on? And so many people are on the wrong track, and that track leads right over the cliff into the Grand Canyon, and basically it's a long way down. And I don't think many of them are going to survive the fall. Just like the movie, 2015, The Big Short. You might watch that one. It's pretty interesting. It talks about the housing market and how many millions of people lost their homes, and basically the bankers skated out of the whole damn deal. Only one person ended up going to jail.
Hardly justice.
Okay, any other questions, comments?
The special endorsement on the birth certificate, I looked it up, and it's just pay to the order of, you write your name, and then you sign it, and your social, no dashes.
Yeah, the special endorsement's going to be you're going to sign, date, and put your thumbprint there because you're signing as like in my case, Patrick Devine, okay? Basically the name that's on the other side of the instrument. And basically it's going to be, payment is to be made to you, your name and address.
Perfect.
And then basically the other instrument that goes along with it, that bank draw completes the rest of the process.
Awesome. That what you explained is exactly what was on the website for how to endorse a savings bond.
You're endorsing that bank note. It's not a bond. It's a bank note, an American bank note.
Right.
From the National Bank Treasury.
Oh, I know that. What I said was what you explained to me was the exact example I was looking at for how Treasury wants you to endorse a bond, like a Series EE bond or one of those bonds you buy.
Yeah, something along the same lines.
Mm-hmm. But you added the thumbprint. That's
right.
The only difference.
That's your seal, your living seal. You don't use the cruncher on the back of that document. You just use your red thumbprint. See, that's your right-hand son of man. Signature and authorization. Most people are right-handed. Now, if you're left-handed, you use your left thumbprint.
Hello, Patrick. This is LaDonna in Atlanta. How are you today?
Okay.
Also,
Go ahead.
My question is also when sending these sort of documents that we're sending and whatnot, what is a proper way to use the post office? And to also, should we be using zip codes? Because that is part of corporate. So being
no,
that the document
that is in the de jure post office system out here. They basically took away and shut down the savings account in the post office. Nobody was using the private bank, the post office as a private bank, and the last resort was the savings account, and they terminated the savings account in the late 60s, and basically then into the 70s, they had to bring in and give the people direct access as a postmaster to the post office, and they set up a post office bank routing number, a 9-digit bank routing number, with the local post office being the first 5 digits, and then your postmaster number being the last 4 digits. And so with your name and that bank routing number, and see, there might be 20 people living at that address with that same bank routing number. But more than likely, there's not going to be 20 people there with the same name. Okay?
Okay, so then you're saying it's okay to go ahead and use it.
You have to use it. You want to be in the de jure national constitutional national bank system, you have to use that post zip code, that 9-digit bank routing number.
Okay. All right. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
I'm going to mute and listen.
Anybody else?
Patrick, I missed the first part of the call, so you may have addressed this, but a couple of the documents, I noticed a few typos on the bankrupt. The T was missing, like on insurrection case letter to the U.S. attorneys. The T was missing on, let's see, the subject line. And then hold on. I can send them to Tom if you want. There were a couple more on a couple of the other letters, just like one on each letter. There was our document. There was just a couple, and I think bankrupt was on 2 of them, and I'll send them over to Tom if you want.
Well, and the other one was in the $46 case.
Yeah.
He says the 2 trust, and it should be the 2 trusts, and he has that in the second place at the same page. We've discussed that with him.
Okay.
Right, and basically, you people, you're on the Skype group. Ask questions of the Skype group. Utilize that Skype group, or utilize the We the People site and ask the questions on there and try and get working together, okay, until you guys come out.
Right.
Help one another.
That's what it's for.
Yeah, that's what I set this up for all along. Because I'll probably be out of the system before the week's up.
Good.
Good way to celebrate your born day.
I'll be a ghost from now on. Okay. Anybody else?
We need a ghost conference sometime.
Yeah.
I'll be out there. You just won't see me.
Well, let's hope that it works that way for you. Thank you.
Me. I didn't hear you.
Thank you, Patrick.
Hey, wait a minute.
Okay.
I got one more thing to say. You asked us to tell other people and share this, and I've been doing that. And other people are saying, "Oh, you have to have a will, and you have to do this and that." And I don't really see the reason for it. I mean, if you did have a will, it would be private, and you don't have to disclose it anyhow.
That's right. You make out a private will, and basically you keep it in your private records. And then you only give that out to a certain person that basically you want, that you think that they're going to outlive you.
Right.
Or
well, that
give
would be,
them
a will and testament, but otherwise, a will is for the living. Also,
right.
Yeah, and a testament is for the dead, whatever to do after you die. But anyhow, that was my logic, and I just thought I'm still sharing it with others, and I am putting the word out. I'm not doing it, in a big way or anything. I'm just noticing certain people and sharing what knowledge I am learning with you, and see how far it goes. I mean, I've been...
Yeah, see, you're coming in and you're witnessing against this foreign fraudulent banking system, and basically you're going to get your witness reward. And basically in the first volume of the statutes at large, basically as a witness, you are supposed to get half of the claim.
That's cool. Like a bounty.
Indeed.
Yeah, in most cases, 10%, be happy with that, because basically in a lot of cases, there's so damn much fraudulent money that has been deposited into our mortgage accounts, hidden money, like drug money, like all this other excess money that basically the oil companies and everything have been hiding away out here, that the bankers have been hiding. They've been hiding it in our mortgage accounts, holding it there, and then hopefully when we die, after 10 years, they can come in and claim that under right of salvage.
Right.
And then not have to declare any taxes or anything on it. Understand how the damn system works.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Right.
Okay, good night, people.
Okay, good night.
Thank you, Patrick, very much.
Yep. Okay, bye.